I hope you've been having a great week so far. So I wanted to tell you about a dream I had last night. It was so crazy. I had a dream that I was surfing. But instead of standing on a surfboard, I was standing on a tortilla chip. And instead of surfing on water, I was surfing on guacamole. Isn't that just so bizarre? Well, do you remember a few weeks ago we learned about King Nebuchadnezzar's dream? And from that dream, King Nebuchadnezzar learned that God was the greatest of all. Well, today our Bible story is another dream from the book of Daniel. So let's see what this dream was all about in Daniel chapter 7 from the Old Testament. When Belshazzar was the king of Babylon, Daniel had a strange dream. This dream was a message from God, and in the dream, Daniel saw 4 big creatures come up from the sea, and each was different from the others. The first creature was like a lion, but it also had wings, like an eagle. And the second creature was like a bear. It had 3 ribs in its mouth. And the third creature was like a leopard. It didn't really look like this leopard. The leopard in Daniel's dream had 4 heads, and it also had 4 wings on its back. And the last creature was strong and scary, and it had large teeth and destroyed everything in its way. And it also had 10 horns. Then Daniel saw a place in heaven with thrones, and God sat down on a throne to judge the creatures. His hair and clothing were white like snow, and his throne was like fire. God took away the creature's power. God let the first 3 creatures live for a short time, but the creature with horns was killed. Suddenly, God's son came, and God gave him power to rule over everything. He was the king, and people from every nation and language served him. His kingdom would last forever, and it would never be destroyed. Daniel was frightened by the dream, but God told Daniel what the dreams meant. The 4 creatures were 4 kings on earth. They would rule for a short time, but then God would give his people the kingdom forever and ever. Daniel did not tell anyone about his dream, but he wrote down everything he saw. And that's how we know about Daniel's dream, because he wrote it down in the book of Daniel in the Bible. So our Christ connection is Jesus is king over everything. God lets people rule for a short time, but one day Jesus will return and set up his perfect kingdom. And everyone who trusts in Jesus will be in his kingdom, and it will last forever. Isn't that great news? That when we trust Jesus to save us from our sin, we get to be a part of his everlasting kingdom. So before we wrap up today, do you remember our big picture question? Our big picture question is, why do we pray? We pray because we trust God and we know he hears us. Well, I hope you enjoyed hearing about Daniel's dream and that you remember that when we pray, God hears us and we can trust him. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye!